Khalil Rountree is out of his UFC 303 co-main event fight against the former light heavyweight champion Jamal Hill. So we are going to be talking about that. Will Jamal Hill accept anybody else? Should he accept anybody else? Because I think he should. What can we do to save UFC 303? Because when you look at the state of it, it's not the best card in the world, is it? Okay, firstly, now, Khalil Rountree, he's already come out, he's made a statement. He is saying that he was using a personalized supplement service, okay? And he was accidentally provided with a blended supplement that contained a banned substance called DHEA. Khalil's gone on to say that he was unaware of the ingredients in the supplement and that he didn't know it until after he consumed it. Straight away, man, I do have to say that I believe him. I kind of do. I don't know why, right? Like, I can be wrong about these things sometimes, but sometimes you need to just go off a gut check, you know? And Khalil doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to go out there and do a banned substance on purpose. Now, he is into cryptocurrency, and like the world of cryptocurrency is full of scams and scammers. So maybe he is one of those people that try and cheat the system. But I don't know. To me, he doesn't really like pass the sniff test of a guy that would go out there and be cheating. I know he's got the rig of someone who could be cheating, but some people are just built more ripped than others. And I do think that Khalil Rountree is one of those guys that is probably on the straight and narrow. There's also the idea that a lot of athletes say, oh, it was a tainted supplement, it was a tainted supplement. And some people don't believe that. But to be fair, right, when it's a pharmaceutical company and they're doing supplements and they're doing sports drugs and they're doing other pharmaceuticals all made in the same area, it is possible that you do get a run of pharmaceuticals or a run of supplements go through some of the machinery and the equipment, and then another run of something different. In this case, he seemed to be going with something a little bit more specialized and personalized. So it is possible that while they were blending the ingredients for one of their other clients or one of their other products, it did sort of cross-contaminate what was going into the stuff that was being made for Khalil Rountree. So it does have like an air of believability around it, but who knows? He's out now, which does put UFC 303 in a little bit of trouble, which takes us over to Jamal Hill, right? Jamal Hill, he does need to fight someone at 303. Now, the UFC have said that they're working on getting him an opponent. I just wanted to pause the video here to say I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs before the middle of July for my birthday. So if this is your first time here, or if you're a ghost watcher, if you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button, it would mean so much to me. Like, small creators like myself, to get to 1,000 is a very, very big deal. So if you could help me out, that'd be great. And if you've already subscribed to the channel, man, you know, like, I don't know, man, go out there, go get your dad, right? Grab dad and be like, Daddy, you know, you never supported me before, but if you could support Dougie, that'd be great. Get him to subscribe to the channel as well, mate. Anything that you can do to help out, get us on this big push to 1,000 would be greatly appreciated. Right, back to 303. And I hope that they do. When you look at UFC 303, as of recording this video, there's only 41 days left until UFC 303. And when you look at the card, look at it in its overall entirety, it's a bit shit. It's kind of really shit. Conor McGregor cards, they're notoriously shit. You see what I did there? See what I did there? The notorious Conor McGregor, notoriously shit. Anyway, doesn't matter. Look, Conor versus Chandler, okay? It's fun, it's fine, but it's lost a bit of its hype. It's taken so long to put this fight together, and Conor is clearly having a hard times getting off the draft. He's out there hugging trees. He seems to be training for a boxing fight from what we've seen from his sparring footage going down at his gym. The ring that he has set up is a boxing gym. He's constantly putting out boxing footage. I don't know, it's not as hype as it used to be, you know, back in 2016 or even 2019 for an old school Conor McGregor card. It's just not it's not what it used to be. So it needs a solid co-main event, and even so, it needs a solid feature fight as well, especially if the UFC expect us to pay $80 for it, or however much a pay-per-view is worth these days. You know, there are other promotions out there that are selling pay-per-views for like 25 bucks. It does really feel like sometimes the UFC and ESPN are just robbing people with cards like this, especially with cards like UFC 303. So what can you do? Who can you put on that card to fight Jamal Hill? Well, there is a fighter who is always Mr. Ready, who always thinks that he's right there a step away from a title shot, who just had a fight, just had a camp, and came out of that fight with a quick, easy win, standing guillotine with almost no injuries. You know that if you put him in there, he is going to light up at the fact that he might be able to touch gold one day. You know him and you love him. And on paper, he is the best MMA fighter since they started recording MMA statistics. Jamal Hill should fight Anthony Smith as a feature fight, not a co-main event, but as a feature fight. It should be Jamal Hill versus Anthony Smith. They haven't fought before. Anthony Smith will be smart enough to step into the ring with Jamal Hill on 41 days notice. It'll be great. And Jamal Hill will probably be able to style on Anthony Smith. There'll probably be a knockout. It's the sort of thing that we need on a UFC 303 Conor McGregor card. Jamal Hill is great on the microphone at press conferences, and I don't mean entertaining, I mean just the salt factors are so fun to watch. Anthony Smith, delusional on the microphone, so fun to watch. Put them in there together, they're going to stand and bang. It's going to be a great fight. So you put them on there as a feature fight, but what about the new co-main event? Something to really boost UFC 303. I do believe, and we seem to have been talking about this for a week or 2 weeks now, UFC need to back the money truck up to Ian Garry and to MVP and get this fight sorted. They both have said that they've accepted the fight on paper, but the UFC has not announced it. They've both said that they have said yes to the contract. Now, UFC Manchester is already done. It's a phenomenal card. It's going to be brilliant. So UFC Manchester doesn't really need Ian Garry on it. However, Ian Garry, the Irish kid, wants to pretend to be Conor McGregor in his head. Never will be. Conor McGregor cheats on his wife, not the other way around. But that doesn't matter. You still get him on there and let him have that moment. He is great for it. MVP, big star in the MMA world, going to bring over a lot of hardcore MMA fans. You put him on that card as well. The fight itself, MVP versus Ian Garry, I don't think it's going to be the most entertaining fight in the world. I do tend to side with the two of them. When you put two counter-strikers in there, it's probably going to end up being a sort of boring tit-for-tat karate match. But I do think that MVP has got the skill and the experience to outplay Ian Garry at his own game. And I think MVP would end up winning that fight, which make the entire experience far more exciting to see the old dog go in there against the guy that the MMA world loves to hate and just sort of put him away over 15 minutes. Then you could lead straight into the Conor McGregor card. So I think that is probably the thing to do to save UFC 303 and at least have it mildly acceptable, because at this point, who have we really got to be on UFC 303, even on the pay-per-view? When you look at the card now that we're getting, it does seem like a fairly good Apex Fight Night sort of a card. And for an $80 product that the UFC are giving us, that's just not good enough. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think is next for Jamal Hill? Should he stay on that card? Who should he be fighting? What else do you think needs to be added to UFC 303 just to spice it up a little bit, just to give it some flavor? If you enjoyed this video, go ahead to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so we can hit that 1,000 subs. And of course, I will see you all in the next video.